Have you ever walked through a place so steeped in history, you could almost hear the whispers of the past? Welcome to the Albaycin, Granada's oldest quarter. From up here, the majestic Alhambra Palace dominates the view, a symbol of a golden age. But today we're not just looking at the grand monuments. We're searching for something more elusive, something hidden within these winding, whitewashed alleys. We're looking for the lost voices of the Albaycin. This neighborhood is a labyrinth of time. Every cobblestone, every hidden courtyard, every jasmine-scented breeze seems to carry a story. For centuries, this was a vibrant hub where Muslims, Jews, and Christians lived side by side, a melting pot of cultures. But history, as we know, is rarely that simple. As power shifted and empires rose and fell, many of these voices were silenced, their stories deliberately erased or simply forgotten over time. Think about the Moriscos, the last Muslims of Spain, who were forced to convert to Christianity. They practiced their faith in secret, homes designed with hidden rooms and courtyards to preserve their culture away from prying eyes. Imagine a family gathering in a clandestine space, sharing stories and prayers in hushed tones, their entire world confined within those walls. Their resilience was a quiet act of defiance, a refusal to let their identity be extinguished. These aren't just historical facts. They are human dramas that unfolded right here in these very streets. But it wasn't just the Moriscos. Consider the Jewish merchants who once thrived in this community. Their contributions to science, philosophy, and trade shaping the city. After their expulsion, their synagogues were converted, their libraries burned, and their presence was all but scrubbed from the official records. What happened to their knowledge, their traditions, their personal histories? We can only find faint traces, like a faded inscription on a forgotten stone or a name that echoes in a local legend. Theirs is a story of profound loss, a cultural void that can still be felt. And what about the women of the Albaycin? Their lives were often confined to the domestic sphere, but they were the keepers of tradition, the storytellers, the healers. They passed down recipes, songs, and remedies from generation to generation. They managed households, nurtured families, and navigated a world that rarely acknowledged their contributions. Their voices are perhaps the most difficult to hear, not because they were suppressed by grand decrees, but because they were simply deemed unimportant by the men who wrote the history books. Yet their strength was the invisible thread that held the fabric of this community together. As we walk through a Carmen, a traditional Albaycin house with its high walls and secret garden, we're stepping into one of these private worlds. These gardens weren't just for beauty, they were sanctuaries, were places for quiet rebellion, for reflection, and for keeping a culture alive when the outside world was hostile. Every pomegranate tree, every trickling fountain tells a story of survival, testament to the human spirit's desire for a small piece of paradise, a safe haven against the storms of history. So why do these lost voices matter today? Because they remind us that history is not just a collection of dates and kings. It's a complex tapestry woven from millions of individual lives, dreams, and struggles. By seeking out these forgotten narratives, we get a richer, more complete picture of the past. We honor the resilience of those who came before us and learn that even in the face of immense pressure, culture finds a way to endure. The Albaycin isn't a museum. It's a living, breathing neighborhood. The echoes of these lost voices are still here if we listen closely. They're in the music drifting from an open window, in the flavor of a local dish, and in the enduring spirit of its people. Next time you travel, I challenge you to look beyond the famous landmarks and seek out the hidden stories. You might be surprised by what you find. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of Granada. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own discoveries in the comments below. I'll see you next time.